good, you guys? It's your girl NGSM here. I just want to start off by apologizing because I know it's been a little while, but to be fair, I've been really busy these past few weeks. Haven't even been in London, and I've only come back for this video, so feel special because I must really care about you guys. As you guys can tell by the title, this is gonna be, it's a pretty mad story time, let me not lie, because if you know me, you know family, close friends, no one really saw this coming. And especially me, like this is one of the things that's just been like far in my head. It was just never meant to happen right now, but it did. You just never think it's gonna be you, and then life just happens. Now I know a lot of people will probably be looking forward to this story simply because I tried to keep my pregnancy really private. Literally no one knew I was actually pregnant, not even family members. The only people that knew I was pregnant were like my closest friends and my parents and my siblings. That was it. Those are the only people that knew, so I could literally count those on like two hands. I tried to keep it private just because I know that being a young parent and stuff, like a lot of people have their own opinions, and not all of them are necessarily positive. I know a lot of people are going to talk this and that. So for me, it's not that I care about people's opinions, because I don't. But I just felt like I didn't really need that energy around me, about me and stuff like that. So I just kept my pregnancy real private, and it's probably the best thing that I did. I had a beautiful pregnancy, thank God. Where do I start? Let me start with a little background story, yeah? So I was in a relationship for like, let's just say around 2 years or so. And as contraception, I take the pill. Okay, it's something I've been taking for years, since I was in like year 9 or something. Not for contraceptive reasons, but just because like irregular periods and stuff like that. And yeah, so it's not something that I forget to take because it's just regularly in my routine. But the way I used to take it was that I had to go to the doctor, book an appointment, request it, and then they will give me like batches, and then I have to go back, request it again, and so on. So eventually my GP, I was just thinking midwife, nurse, like it's none of those, my GP, she said to me, oh, I'm just going to give you a repeat prescription, and that's basically what's going to happen. So I thought a repeat prescription meant that it was coming straight to my house, which obviously is not the case. But for some reason at the time I thought that, oh, okay, I wouldn't have to go back to the GP and book an appointment. It would just come to my house. So I went to, so this was this time last year. So let's just rewind a few months. So June I went to Mexico, and that was when my pill pack finished. Then the repeat prescription was supposed to come. Now in July I came back, and the repeat prescription didn't come. Now at the time, let's give him a name. I'm gonna just go with AJ because that's like the first thing that came to my head, but his name is definitely far from that. But anyway, AJ, yeah. So AJ and I weren't really in like, I think we were going for a little hiccup or whatever, so we weren't really seeing each other. So I wasn't really like concerned about the fact that my pill hadn't arrived. I was just waiting for it to arrive. We weren't really seeing each other, so it wasn't really an issue. Obviously I didn't have the pill that time. Yeah, I think we saw each other towards the end of the month. So my period was due like 23rd, and I think I saw him on like the 26th. And yeah, my period actually started as we were about to do stuff. Yes guys, I had sex on my period. Don't at me. If you're in a relationship, it's actually normal, and I know a lot of you guys be knowing this. Yeah, we had sex, and my period continued like normal, nothing happened. And then we didn't really see each other until a couple weeks later, where we were going to Portugal. So we went to Portugal on like the 18th, I think, of August. And yes, of course, we went on holiday together. You're going to have sex with your partner as well, once again. Cool, so now my period is due again, right? 26th of August, let's say. That was Carnival Day. I remember this because I was actually planning on my thing. We was gonna fly out the morning of the 26th, touchdown in the UK, and then go straight to Carnival. Tutus now, we missed our flight. But that's another story. My period didn't come either. So now I'm like, oh, you know, it was late last month. I still wasn't on the pill, by the way. Maybe it's late again. My period used to be a bit irregular, so I was thinking, oh, you know what, because I've stopped the pill, maybe it's just like trying to sort itself out, doing this little thing. Is a week later, and my period still hasn't come. So I must have been like to one of my friends. Oh my god, like my period hasn't come. It's been a week, like, and my friend was like, oh, nice, cool, like, don't worry about it. You're just overthinking, just over exaggerating. Like, just wait another week, kind of thing. Like, no biggie. I'm like, cool. Like, she just completely brushed me off. Like, no concern whatsoever. So then, now the second week went by, and I must have messaged my other friend, and I was like to her, like, yo, like, my period hasn't come. I didn't really have to say much. She was just like, you know what? Let's take a look at science, basically. So she whipped out this ovulation calendar, which I'm gonna insert in here for you guys to follow the story. In this ovulation calendar, it basically has the days, like 28 days, and you count from the first day of your last period, and it basically show you when you're fertile or when you're not. So we counted, and basically that we had sex, I was not fertile. Well, I was least, I can't even speak English, highly unlikely to be fertile. I also did a pregnancy test, by the way, at the end of that first week, and it was negative. So calm, I cannot be pregnant. Me pregnant? No way. Now it is like nearly mid-September. I was getting like cramps and whatnot, so I was thinking, you know what, my period is due. I also had a cough at that time, and my mom basically was telling me to go to the doctor because of the cough, and I was like to her, nah, like I just kept brushing it. So she booked me an appointment, and I said, I'm gonna go, but I'm gonna go for a different reason. I didn't tell her why. Go to the doctors now, and I'm like to the doctor, like, my period hasn't come. I've done a pregnancy test, it's negative, so like something must be wrong. Like, why is my period not coming? And in my head, like, I cannot be pregnant. Like, that's not an option. Like, I'm pregnant. You must be having a laugh, mate. Me pregnant? Yeah, that could never be me. He said, when did you do it? I said, a week after I missed my period. And he goes, okay, well, I'll take another one next week, because sometimes it takes a while for the pregnancy hormones to show up. I had gone to Sainsbury's and I'd got one of those cheap tests, because to me, I feel like pregnancy tests, if you're pregnant, you're pregnant. It's gonna show up, whether it's cheap tests or a really high thingy test. If you're pregnant, you're pregnant. Like, it's gonna show up. All this fancy, it's just, I don't know, that's my opinion anyway. At the time, me and my friends, we were gonna go to this party that was happening, and this was a few days before this party. So now I leave the doctor, and I was now thinking like, oh shit, like I could maybe be pregnant, even though I'm not, but I could maybe be pregnant. So I said to my friend, like, what do I do? And she was just like, just take another test now, don't wait till the next week, and then we'll see, because basically I was going to go out and I'm going to drink, so I needed to know whether I'm going to be able to do that or not. I bought another test. I remember I was on the way to work. I was even working an evening shift, like 3 to 11. So I get to work now, I have this test. I like midway through my shift, I was like, you know what, let me just get this out of the way now. To one of the disabled toilets, yeah, and I was like, yeah, let me just do this. So I just like peed on the stick, and I get up. Now bear in mind, I had seen one of these tests go positive before, because someone else. So I'm like, yeah, cool, let me just get this out of the way. Pee on the stick now. I look at the stick. I think I even have a picture of the stick, so I'm gonna insert that here too. I look at the stick. I've never seen that go positive so fast in my life. I remember just standing there, like, my mouth just dropped. I was like, what? Like, this is not happening. This is not true. This is not happening. This stick must be broken. And I was just standing there in shock, like, and I remember I just had to tell someone, like, I just had to tell someone. So I'm here calling all my friends, And when I need you, no one wants to be picking up. So I'm just here having like a mini panic attack in this toilet in the middle of my workplace, yeah. And none of my friends want to pick up. I remember I FaceTime like at least 4 or 5 people and no one picked up. Only after a while, this one of my friends picked up, and she picked up, and there was nothing that I could, like, I just showed her the stick. And she's just there like, and I'm like, we're just here like, what's going on? There wasn't really much words exchanged in that FaceTime, but apart from just expressions. And then I spent long enough in the toilet, so I was like, yeah, I need to go back to work before someone just tries to come for me. Hung up now. I also texted my mum saying it's positive. So rewind to when I finished the doctor. When I finish appointments, I usually just always tell my mom like what happened at the appointment. So when I left the appointment, even though she didn't know about why I was going, I called her and I was like, yeah, so this is why I went, this is what the doctor said, blah 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 blah. So she was aware that I was going to take another test and stuff. She texted me back and she was basically, she said it in Portuguese, but she was basically like, I don't know what you want to do. And I was like, I don't know either. So now I go back to work and I'm just in shock. Like, my head was done. Like, for the rest of that shift, my head was done. Like, no one could be. There was this guy that I was working with, and he was just talking the most, chatting pure nonsense in my ear whilst I'm here stressing out about life. He's just yapping in my ear, and I was like, looking at him like, I was just in this daze. I remember I text AJ now, and I'm like, I sent the picture of the stick, and I'm like, I'm pregnant. And he was at work too. I've done this before, but as like a prank, and I feel like he knows it was a prank, so he's never really reacted. So this time, but I've never actually said I'm pregnant, I've just sent him the stick kind of thing, but it's not mine. So now this time, I actually said I'm pregnant, and he was just like, is this another joke kind of thing? And I was like, no, like, I am pregnant as well. And he had just started a new job, and it was really stressful. I remember him being like, you must be having a laugh kind of thing, because like at that current moment this can only be a joke, because with everything that he has going on right now, this was just like the cherry on top to the madness. I think it was just like, he's just laughing to himself right now because this cannot be real kind of thing, yeah. And I was just there like, boy, it is real. Like, this is as real as it gets. That was how I found out I was pregnant, how I reacted. I wouldn't say I was particularly sad. I was more in shock. Like, I don't think I had sadness or happiness. I was just in shock because I didn't really know. It just wasn't real. And to be honest, I have a 3-month-old, nearly 4-month-old child. And till this day, I still do not believe that I actually have a child. So it's a bit mad. Now, the wild part is, so I go to this scan, and they basically date how pregnant you are, how many weeks pregnant you are here. And I'm like, oh yeah, I must be like 4 weeks or so, because, you know, by the time I found out, obviously from August, once I missed my period, it's like 4 weeks or so. And so I'm like to the lady, oh yeah, it's not too long, like it's just recent kind of thing. She's just like, oh yeah. And she goes, like, she's checking me, and she's just like, oh yeah, it's true, you're only like 7 weeks pregnant. 7 weeks? What? 7 weeks pregnant? 7 weeks? Like, just pause a second, guys. Can you deep that 7 weeks is nearly 8 weeks? 8 weeks is nearly 2 months. And you're telling me I'm nearly 2 months pregnant? 2 months pregnant? Remember, we're in September now. 2 months pregnant, that means I've been pregnant since July. So do you know what that means? That means I got pregnant on my period. Now, that just blew my mind away, because according to science, yeah, when you're on your period, you're not really fertile, are you? Because everything is just coming out. This is why, to me, it was such a shock, because it's like, if I had my period, I got pregnant, my period stopped, I would have been like, oh shit, something just happened. No, I had my full-on period for 5 days. I had my normal period, and then only the next month did I miss my period. So when she dated the scan, it basically went to like the 2nd or 3rd of August. Obviously I didn't do anything on those dates, but the date closest to that was the 26th of July, which was just a few days. So I don't understand how this super sperm, I'll call it super sperm because, boy, you survived all that blood. So I know, icky, but you survived all that blood. Yeah, I don't know where this super sperm was hiding, but for 5 days I had like proper blood, proper bleeding. It survived. I don't know the ins and outs of this, so if anyone can enlighten me, please do, because to this day I'm still confused as to how all of this happened. But yeah, so I was pregnant since July, got pregnant on my period. So guys, take a little lesson. Whether you're on your period or you're not on your period, no matter what the circumstance, if you do not want to end up pregnant and you do not want a child right now, strap up, be safe, take your pill, take a contraception, just, you know, be safe. That's it. That's all I have to say. Just be safe. I got pregnant at 20, had him at 21. That is the end of my story time, really. Yeah. How my parents reacted. My mum, I mean, she didn't really shout at me, but she wasn't not as happy. I think she was probably in shock, just as much shock as me, if not more, because like I said, no one expected this from me. If you're watching this and you know me, you know that is the case. That is the case for a lot of family members especially. But yeah, it happened. Now I have a beautiful little man, or should I say a handsome little man. My dad, however, went off. I remember my mum just blurted it out on the dinner table, which was very rude of her, let me not lie. She just blurted it out, laughing. He thought it was a joke. He was like, what? Ha 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 ha. Then I just looked at my mum like, what did you just do? Then he's looking at me, waiting for me to ha 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 back, yeah. I'm just looking at him. Then when he realised it wasn't a joke, yeah, shit just went down from there, yeah. But at the end of the day, they both supported me. They came round. They're the best grandparents that you could ask for. My brother was quite supportive, and my friends were just like, congratulations, yay, I'm gonna be good father, I'm gonna be good mother, can't wait for my little nephew, can't wait for my little nephew or niece, you know, at the time we didn't know the gender. Everyone was just so happy. I couldn't fault my friends, and the people that did know, I could not fault them. They were all so supportive throughout the whole pregnancy. They're just the best, I can't even lie. Boys, learn to respect women, because a woman birthed you and you do not know what it is like to birth another human. Yeah, guys, let me just tell you guys as well, I was pregnant throughout the pandemic. That changed the game for the pregnant women. I promise you, it was such a tough time with everything, especially with your first pregnancy. Big up every female who was pregnant and gave birth throughout the pandemic, because this is so rare. Who can actually say I birthed a child in the middle of a pandemic? Most of us, if any of us, have never been alive throughout a pandemic before, yeah. And yeah, this was just a very crazy time, and I have to big you guys up even more because it was just such a tough time. You women are, because I also kept my pregnancy private, I'm gonna put in some pictures here because I didn't get to share them, but now I can share them. So yeah, there you go. But yeah, I promise you, I'm going to try and not to leave it this long before I post. Things should start getting back to normal now. Yeah, let me know what kind of videos you guys want to see, and yeah, I'll see you guys later. Bye.